So the Switch 2 just came out, and while you probably know you can play Switch 1 games on the Switch 2, you might be wondering what happens when you play Switch 2 games on the Switch 1. So in this video, we'll put this scenario to the test in a few different ways and see what happens. Alright guys, so I have my Switch 2 here, and we'll first do a baseline test just to kind of show you what happens when you play a normal Switch 2 game on a Switch 2. So we have Mario Kart World here. Let's go ahead and pop it in the cartridge tray here. So you pop it in, and you can see Mario Kart World will move to the front. You can go ahead and boot it up and it'll play. And next up we have Hogwarts Legacy, which is another Switch 2 game, but it's actually a game key card, which means it doesn't have the data on the card. You just pop it in and it'll download content from the internet. So let's go ahead and see what happens on this for another baseline test. So we pop it in and it says to use this game key card, you need to download data from the internet. So we'll go ahead and do that. Then it'll pop up at the front again, just like a regular game, but you got to download everything. So it'll be interesting to try these two different scenarios on a Switch 1. And let me just show you the next thing that works that kind of brings in some more questions. So we have a Switch 1 game here, and as you can see, it does fit in the Switch 2 cartridge. So we wonder if you pop this in here, and yeah, it works there. So now you wonder, a Switch 2 and a Switch 1 cartridge are the same size. So what happens when you put a Switch 2 cartridge in the Switch 1? Maybe especially for the game key card. I mean, you just download it from the internet, so like why wouldn't that work? So of course we'll try that out in a little bit, but we first have a couple other ways to try playing Switch 2 games on the Switch 1. So let me show you those scenarios. So guys, next up we'll try out GameShare, and in case you don't know what GameShare is, it's pretty similar to DS Download Play from, about 15-20 years ago. When you put a game in your DS, you press Download Play, and you got a friend that doesn't have the game who can actually connect to your console, and you can play together without you both having the game. So similar feature here for the Switch 2, and it says you can play together using software that supports GameShare. Now, I have a Switch 1 game in here so far, so Super Mario Odyssey, that apparently does support GameShare. So we'll go ahead and start with that, boot it up, try it out, and we'll try to GameShare to our Switch 1 and see how it works. And then next up, we have another game that's only for the Switch 2 that I'll try to GameShare from the Switch 2 to the Switch 1 and see if that works. So that's essentially a workaround to play Switch 2 games on the Switch 1, which is actually a pretty cool feature. So let's go ahead and test these out. All right, so Super Mario Odyssey pulled up. We'll go to Resume 2-player, which I believe is where GameShare is. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so you have GameShare over local play. You also have GameShare over game chat, so you can play like online. Now, I believe that's only for two Switch 2s, but we'll try out GameShare plus local play. So we start GameShare there, and then we'll pull up our Switch OLED down here, and you can see at the bottom we have GameShare as well. So let's go ahead and pull that up. We'll press Join GameShare on our Switch OLED, and then, oh, there it goes. Just pop straight up. You can press Join GameShare. Okay. Press Start up here. And oh yeah, just like that, it pulls straight up. That's actually pretty sick. Now, of course, the first downside I see is that it's actually cropping in your screen some. So we have a good finger's width worth of empty space here on the side. And same with our OLED down here. There's just some black bars on the side as well. And that's because we have these this connection details at the top where it tells you your connection strength. And just testing these out side by side, you can see there's really no lag, at least visually. Like I can see the exact same screen on the top and bottom here on the Switch 2 and the Switch OLED. And of course, the controls up here are not laggy. Let's try the controls on the Switch OLED down here, see if those are laggy at all. And no, they seem perfectly fine as well.